The first thing that you need to get to properly program a replacement variable frequency drive for a rooftop unit is the carrier installation, startup, and service instructions for variable frequency drive factory installed option 2-speed motor control for 2-stage cooling rooftop units. The document number is VFD-08SI. So once you have that manual, what you need to do is match up your VFD part number and your motor part number to get the correct parameters that need to be set. So for this example, we're going to use HK30WA523 as our VFD part number, and then our motor part number is HD60FE656. So what we're going to do is match those two up in that table, and that's the row that you need to use to properly program the VFD. Now the motor part number can be found on the motor tag. And again, there's going to be different numbers, but again, for this example, we're going to use HD60FE656. So now that we have that matched up, now we can go through and program the VFD. If you don't have a copy of the manual, another place that you can always find the parameters on our newer units within the past years, so the serial number would be after 2020, they have a sticker that shows all the parameters for that particular unit as it was built and designed from the factory, and that resides on the control panel cover. If you use the startup assistant or the ABB manual that came in the box with the replacement VFD, you're going to need to set the drive back to default settings to be able to program it correctly for the carrier unit. So the way that you go back to default settings on the VFD is you go to menu, go down to parameters, go to group 99, and you need to go to 9902, which is application macro. And all you have to do is change it to something other than HVAC default. Press save. Then you need to change it back to HVAC default. Now you're able to program it just as it came out of the box. This is very critical if you have changed any parameters before setting them correctly. You have to make sure that that drive is back to default, otherwise it may not run correctly. So we're going to go down to parameter backup. We're going to go to upload to panel. So now it's copying all the parameters that were set on that. Now that we have it set up, we're going to take our keypad over to the new VFD in the other unit, identical. We're going to make sure that it's in the off position again, and the off is showing up in the top left corner. Now we're going to go to menu. We're going to go to PAR backup. And now you're going to press download full set. It's important that you choose download full set to get all the parameters that are set in there. So after we've done that and it shows successful, we're going to hit OK. We're going to hit exit. And one way that you can check to make sure that the parameters did in fact get changed is go to change parameters. And now you should be able to go through and see a handful that are changed. And again, if you want, you can verify them off of the table in your manual. So now once we verified that all the parameters are set correctly, we can hit exit again to the main menu. Now you want to press the auto button. It's very important once you're done either programming it or copying the parameters to it that you see auto in the top left corner, otherwise the VFD won't run. So now that we've done that, now you can jump R to G, R to Y, R to W to verify that the VFD operates properly in those different unit operating modes. Once you have the correct carrier manual that contains the parameters that you need to set, if you already use the ABB manual that came in the box with it, you're going to need to set the drive back to default before you can program the correct parameters. So to do that, you need to go to Menu, you need to go to Parameters, you need to go to Group 99, and go to 9902, Application Macro. You need to change that to something other than HVAC default. So we change it to Supply Fan, press Save. Now it's set the parameters back to default, and you may or may not get an alarm. Now we need to change it back to HVAC default, and then we can proceed with setting the correct parameters. So now we can go back to our main screen. So the first parameter that we want to set is the voltage. So that's parameter 9905. So we go into parameters, we go to groups, go to 9905, 230 volts. Now you'll find when you're going through and setting these based on the table that some of them are already at the default set where they need to be, but you still need to go through all of them to verify that they're correct. So now that we have 9905 set, we need to go to parameter 9906, and that's going to be our nominal amps. And for this example, we need to set it at 4.0. So we're going to press save. The next parameter we need to go to is 9907. That needs to be set at 60 hertz. So again, this is another one that's already set at that by default, but you need to always verify everything that's in the table to make sure that it's correct. So now we're going to go to our nominal RPM with parameter 9908, and we're going to set that at 1725. So we're at 1725, press save. The next one we need to set is our nominal horsepower, 9909. We want to set that at 1.2, and we're going to press save. The next parameter we need to set is constant speed select. That's parameter 1201. So you'll find the fastest way to go through the parameters is to hit exit when you're in a group, and you'll see that you have all the groups there. So we're going to go down to group 12, and we're going to go to parameter 1201. So 1201 needs to be DI2, 3. So we're going to go through till we see that. Now, for example, we're going to show you the incorrect way that you could set this, which is inverted. So you see that there's also a DI2, 3, but it says INV. You need to be sure that it does not say that, otherwise the drive will not operate. So we're going to set it correctly to DI2, 3, press save. The next parameter we need to set is constant speed 1, which is parameter 1202, and that needs to be set at 40 hertz. Now you'll see if you hold down that button that it skips to the next digit and it'll actually scroll through it faster. So the next one we need to set is parameter 1203, constant speed 2, and that needs to be 60 hertz. And again, you can see by holding the button down that it'll actually go through them a lot faster. So we're going to press save. The next one we're going to set is parameter 1204. That's constant speed 3, which also needs to be 60 hertz. All right, the next parameter we want to set is 1401. So again, we're going to go to exit. We're going to go down in the groups to group 14 and find 1401. 1401 needs to be set at FLT/alarm. The next parameter we need to set is our max amps, which is parameter 2003. And that needs to be at 4.0. So we have it at 4.0, we're gonna press save. The next one we need to set is our minimum frequency, which is parameter 2007. So we're gonna stay in the same group, go down to 2007. That should be 0 hertz. Then we're gonna go to our max frequency, which is parameter 2008. That needs to be 60 hertz. The next parameter we need to set is switching frequency, parameter 2606. And that needs to be 4 kilohertz. So we go to group 26, switching frequency, 4 kilohertz, save. The next one is start function, parameter 2101. That needs to be set at auto. Stop function, the next one, 2102, needs to be set at coast. Save. Now we need to go to Excel decel, parameter 2201. That needs to be not SEL. Now we need to go to acceleration time, parameter 2202. That should be 30 seconds. Now we need to go to deceleration time, parameter 2203. That should also be 30 seconds. So those are the parameters from the table in the manual. There's a few others that you want to verify in your keypad. So the first one you want to verify is parameter 3103. So go back to group 31, going down to 3103. And that's our automatic reset delay time. That needs to be set at 6.0 seconds. The next one you want to verify is parameter 3104. You want to make sure that that's set at enable. Now again, some of these may already be set properly from the factory. It depends on the age of your unit, and it depends on the age of the VFD that you got from inventory. But all of these parameters are important to verify when you're setting up the VFD in a replacement situation.